What's up, guys? Welcome back to JodabeniTV. Today's another amazing day to get out there, and we're gonna be better today than we were yesterday. And for today's video, I'm gonna be showing you guys exactly what do I pack in my bag when it comes to trials for professional football clubs. When it comes down to traveling for a professional football trial, what I like to do first and foremost is I like to pack my bags very light and keep everything that I need inside. So I don't want to take any extra baggage that I do not need, because when I'm there, I want to be focused. I don't want to be carrying a lot of baggage. I just want to be there and have everything that I need to succeed at the trial, then have other things that will just cloud my bag. So the first thing that I always pack is obviously your cleats. Everything can go wrong. You can lose your phone, you can lose your wallet. If you're at the trial itself and you still got your cleats, there's a high chance that that professional team will still let you be on trial. But if worst comes to worst and you don't have any cleats, sometimes they might not even let you trial. So you never want to be in that position, because maybe you've already spent money and time to arrive at that trial and now you don't have cleats. So that's number one I always pack, because you never want to miss your cleats. Right after that, the second thing that I always pack is another pair of cleats. You may not understand this, but sometimes things that are not in your control happen, such as your cleats ripping in the middle of a trial. So if that ever happens to any of you and you don't have a second pair of cleats, maybe that trial would have been the trial that you got your first professional contract, but because now you don't have cleats to play with, the professional coaches cannot see you play for the rest of the trial, and you don't have the time to wait for another Nike order to arrive at your hotel so that you can try out with cleats now. So always pack a second pair of cleats, and not only just because of cleats could rip, it's because different fields feel different with different cleats. So maybe you showed up at a turf field and your main cleats, you wore it and it feels not as good, but then you put on your second cleats and it feels so comfortable. That is a plus to you. Now you're not hindered the rest of the trial from having your feet feeling awkward or aching because the field is different. The third thing that I always take on my professional trials is shin guards. There's so many people that whenever I go to professional trials, they don't wear shin guards. They play, they do their trial, but at the end of the day, if you get hurt at a trial, it's done. It's done. Like, that team, there's a high chance they're not gonna sign you because you are hurt. And not only that, not even if the team doesn't want to sign you, if somebody critically hurts your legs because you weren't wearing shin guards in that trial, maybe because of that injury, you may not be able to trial again, maybe till the next year or to the next window of trials, because now you have to wait and let your leg heal because you weren't wise enough to protect yourself. Because there's players who go to trials, they're not the best of players, and some are very dirty, and they believe that the more dirty they are, the more it shows coaches that they're really aggressive, and you may actually get really hurt. So it's best to always take care of what you have power over, and adding a level of protection over your legs will take you a long way. I don't care even if you were going on a professional trial, even if you were playing Sunday League, protect yourself at all times, because you don't know, there's crazy people out there and they're gunning for you. So the next thing that I like to bring with me is my own soccer ball. Yes, this doesn't fit into my backpack, but I usually hold it with me because sometimes when you get to the trial, they don't offer balls so you guys can play around with. Maybe some teams don't want to lose it, or people stealing it, so you're stuck with warming up with your own equipment. And the first that I always want to be able to do is get enough touches on the ball right before the trial, because whenever the trial starts, you're kind of nervous, your mind is everywhere, so you just want to do, even if I have to do 200 or 300 juggles just to get that confidence build up for my touches right before the trial, I do it. If I need to hit a wall or find somebody at the trial to do passes with just to build that confidence before the trial, I will. Now, if you don't have a ball, the team isn't offering balls to trialists, you're stuck at a loss. So now your first touches will be during the trial. The next thing that I have in my backpack is my headphones. By all means, when it comes to trials, right before, I like to get focused. Either I'm listening to music, or I'm listening to the Bible app, or I'm listening to a motivational podcast. These three elements, one of the other, depending on how I'm feeling during that moment, I'm listening to it, and it really gets me into the zone. And if I didn't have the headphones, I mean, you don't have to, but for me, personally, I'm gonna need my music. I'm gonna need something to listen to focus my mind and just thinking about what I'm gonna be doing next before the trial begins. So the next thing that I have on here is Advil. Advil is so underrated. You don't know how many times you're preparing for a big event, whatever it may be that may be causing those migraines. Boom, pop an Advil. It's time for trial. Because remember, when trial day comes, it's every man for themselves. The teams don't give you your own trainers, so you better have everything that you need. If you need painkillers or anything like that, you better pack it yourself. The next thing I like to practice is some bands just right before I start trying, just activating my glutes, my groins, ways where I can't really just on the ball or running. So I do that just to make sure those parts of my body are fully warmed up, so whenever trial comes, I can be very fluid and ace the trial. I also like packing water or Gatorade, whatever it may be. Usually I have both because sometimes I just feel more thirsty than during the trial, and then afterwards I like to replenish my energy with electrolytes. And sometimes after a trial you're so tired, like you have no energy, not even energy to drive back to your hotel, but having something that rebuilds your electrolytes does help you a lot. So for me, usually I'll have Gatorade or Body Armor, but lately I've just been sticking with Body Armor because they've been really treating me really well. So if Body Armor, if you're out there and you're watching this and you want to sponsor me, by all means, I am down. So the last thing that I like to keep in my bag is my massage gun. We all know there's times where you maybe have nicks or soreness just from preparing for the trial. So on the day of, maybe when you're waiting or even after your trial, you have something that you can take care of yourself. As I mentioned before, at trial, you don't get treatment from the team's trainer, so you have to be able to treat yourself. They don't care if you have a 5-day trial, a 2-week trial, you know, unless the team invites you to train with them for preseason, then you'll get their treatment. But if you're just going like on a 4-day trial or a 3-day trial, there's a high chance you're gonna have to treat yourself. So be sure you're prepared. You have your massage gun, or if you can't afford that, you can get a foam roller or a different type of roller just to massage those muscles and get you ready for the next trial day or even treatment after trials. So those are the things that I keep in my bag. But if you want to take a look at an example of one of my trials that I went to Minnesota United for, you can go ahead and check the link that's gonna show up, or just go to my channel and type in Minnesota United trial, and you'll see the trial that I did, and you just can see how it was for me going on one of my trials. Or you can watch my trial that I went with RGV Toros. So on that note, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. JodabeniTV is out.
Oh baby, you might just make me go crazy, thinking about you like all day. I'ma need you.
And for today's video, we're going to be talking about how I got invited to an MLS Combine that's going to be happening in January. So pretty much, as you know, during December and January is usually where a lot of teams have open trials. There's MLS Combine and other specific teams that are looking for their own players or additions to teams.